Hello everyone, this is Ep14, and welcome to episode 14 of Ep20's Let's Play series, where today I need to automate a few more resources dedicated to getting us ready for Tier 5 and 6 unlocks, which will happen over there at the space elevator shortly. Well, maybe not shortly. It's probably going to be a little bit before we get the resources we need. That said, I definitely want to get the ball rolling here, because the sooner we get this stuff automated, the sooner we can start doing some other things while we wait for the resources to be produced, right? So that's kind of the plan. So there's a few things we want to automate today. First off, we would like to get Stators going. And then we're also going to need... I mean, is that it? I think that might be it, actually. Stators, and then these two. Actually, you do need... This needs this guy. So maybe Versatile Framework should come in here. Yeah, I feel like that might be the right course of action. Because then what I could do is split you. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I might have misjudged what I need to do here, but that's okay. It's not that big a deal. Because what we could do is something like this. And... yeah, if we want versatile frameworks, you're going to need 30 steel beams per minute to make that happen. So that's going to need even more steel beams. Oy, that's a lot. And that'll make 5 versatile framework per minute. So we really need to amp up our steel beam production if we're going to be doing what we want to do. Yeah, I think we might need to be amping that up today. We shall see. You know what I might wind up doing? I think I have an idea of what I might wind up doing, actually. Let's do this today. Let's amp up our steel production. We will expand our crafters out this way. We will turn this guy into a steel beam producer. We'll move our steel pipes over to the left, and that should be pretty cool. I think that'll work out, yes. So let's do this. Let's go amp up our production of resources over at the steel area. That sound good? All right, let's make sure I've got all the resources I need to do this. I'm gonna come back in a minute once I make sure I have enough core resources to really get everything cooking. So be right back. All right, heading on over to my steel production line. Let's get, first things first, let's get our coal producer upgraded, right, to a Mark II miner. And then we'll get our iron producers up to a Mark II miners. And then we will start ramping up all the belts and everything. So... let's make sure that we've got enough portable miners. So we're going to want 3 more of these, I think. So I'm going to make 4 more just to be safe. And if I have to void one, it's not that big a deal. So you can, I believe, in-place upgrade miners, right? So this is a Mark I miner making 120 coal per minute. I'm going to make a Mark II here. And now he should be making 240 coal per minute. But one thing to note, I've noticed sometimes when you upgrade these, something funny happens either with the belts or the power, but I've noticed occasionally they get gummed up. So babysit them for a minute and make sure that things are continuing to behave. Okay? And if they're not, then, you know, be ready to deal with that. So now I should be able to upgrade this to a Mark III belt, which will be able to support the 240 parts per minute we're producing. Cool? And then make sure that you upgrade all your belt lines to Mark III. Cool. And that one probably doesn't need to be upgraded. Cool. Awesome. Now, let's also upgrade our miner Mark IIs here and here. And we will upgrade you, and especially you. And all the belts in between. To Mark III. Now, technically this is 120, so he doesn't super need to be upgraded. It doesn't, you know, it's fine though, right? And then this guy is the one that really does need to be upgraded. That Mark III, because it's 120 and 120. Now make sure if you have any other tiny belts that you're not paying attention to, you've got them all upgraded, right? And you'll know it's working well if this thing's almost saturated, which it is, so that's cool. Alright, nice. Cool, cool, cool. So now let's get, I'm debating if I want to try. I might be able to do this in a cool way. Should we try this? I think there's a clever, smart way to pull this off. That might be a little bit cleaner, belt-wise. Let's see if this is true. Because smart has a neat way for buildings like this. And I just want to see. Can't afford. What don't I have the things for? Oh, concrete. Oh, I know I forgot to bring something. I knew I forgot to grab one resource, and it was concrete. We're going to need a few extra rotors too, so I'll be right back. I like the zip line. I do. My only feedback is I wish it were a little bit faster than regular run speed. Because it doesn't feel all that useful, except for, like, vertical traversal, if it's going to be the same speed as running. You know what I mean? Am I crazy? Or would it be nicer if it was faster than run speed? I mean, yeah, I know it's not, like, a super high-tech thing, but I would like it if it was just a little bit faster. Because then I would have a reason to use the zip line over running. Though I guess that would also make you feel like you need to use the zip line, which I guess is not ideal. But meh, we'll see. We'll figure it out. Anyway, rotors, please. All right, let's see if the smart mod's working with this nifty, clever trick we can do. So if I had splitters here, and we had these guys connecting. Yes, that's what I want. See what it does? How cool is that, huh? How cool is that? So let's use smart, and we're going to redo this whole setup using smart. And we're going to see how well this works, but I think it's going to be cool. Now again, you could absolutely do this without smart manually, but smart just makes it a little bit easier. Cool. Clearing it all out. I'm also going to remove the power lines here. So this is going to shut down our whole steel production for a minute, but that's okay. So originally we had 3 going, right? So it was 45, 45, and 30, right? So let's see, 45, and we're realistically doing 240. So your best bet here is to do 5 and a third, right? So rather than 4 and 2 of them at 2/3, I'm going to bump this guy up to 100%. And I'm going to make, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th one can be steel ingots at 33%. Does that sound cool? And that should be good. All right, now, from here, we should have splitters connecting like so. Want to make sure that you're aligned properly. We'll see. Yeah, that looks nice. I like that. Right there. Oh, how gorgeous is that, huh? How gorgeous is that? Now all we need to do is run this conveyor line into here, which is a little bit hokey, but we could make it happen. We could make it happen. And then a splitter. What kind of thing is this? This is a Mark 1 belt, right? like that. Cool. And what you'll find is that Smart basically built these in a super efficient way for us, which is awesome. Look at that. Okay. And then we can have this belt go into here. Well, technically you're going to want to be... It's a little bit dire wiry, but that should be awesome. Sweet. All right, cool. Now let's get a pole here and a pole here. And I'm going to upgrade you to a Mark II pole. Not that it's super necessary, but then you can do 1, 2, 3, and you can do 1, 2. Now let's not be surprised if our power starts to struggle in a minute, because we are just significantly amping up our consumption here. Max consumption is 614, production is 600. We are going to have a problem if we're not careful. If we're not careful, we might have a problem here. We should really look into those battery things, because I have yet to look into those. But all these guys should be making steel now, and doing a nice job of it, actually. How great is that? How great is that? So now we're going to want a merger. Cool. Let's make sure these are all Mark IV belts. Doing their best. Cool. Not too shabby. And look, here comes my truck. Good job, truck. Alright. Not bad. So in total, we're doing 45 times 6, which is, I think, exactly 270, isn't it? But not forgetting that this is 33%, so a little less than 270. So I think we're good here. Once we clear out all the back stuffing, I think we should be good. I would expect almost no back stuffing, to be honest with you, but maybe it's just that you're... There's some back stuffing here, but not much. This should be a net loss, right? And it is. So once this clears out its backlog of stuff, we should be good. All right, cool. We should definitely look into the batteries, and we should definitely look into more coal power. Because now that we're amping up our foundries, I think it would be a stupid move for us to start using all this steel. If we go add to our steel production lines over there, we're going to have a problem. So we don't want to do that. You guys are all Mark IVs, right? I think so. Sweet. Loving it. All right, good. So I'll come back in a minute. Let's go check out the batteries, because I've yet to build those ever, and I don't know how they work, and I'm interested in trying them. So power storage, interestingly enough, requires those Stator things, which I might be able to craft a handful manually. Let's see. I just want to try out, I want to see how the power storage works, because I've legitimately never touched it before, and I'd like to just make one real quick by hand. So Stators, I actually have the resources to produce 5 of those, no problem. Those are easy to make. So we'll knock out 5 of these real quick by hand, and then we'll add the power storage, and then we'll go look at upgrading power production. Cool? So power storage, which I'm just going to stick right on the ground here for a second. How's this thing work? All right. Time until full, stored charge, charge rate, power storage info, no connection. Looks interestingly enough. All right, cool. So it's going to take an hour until it can fully charge up. That's kind of neat. I like that. What do these buttons do? Oh, look at that. Okay, so I mean, that's actually kind of like the same information as over here. Charge rate, 100 megawatts. So if we check this graph out now, we will see that our Oh, you can even see it on the power poles. The power poles show you the charge amount too. Okay, and now that makes more sense. Yeah, see? That definitely makes sense. So consumption is 460, production is 600. We're charging at 100. Okay. So if I threw another one here... I mean, I don't actually want my power battery things to be over here, right? I don't think that's where I want them to live, per se. But what I might do is something like this. And you guys could live, like, this could be my battery bank area. And let's have another craft bench for a sec. Give me some more Stators. These things are actually relatively cheap to make, these big battery guys. Like, I expected them to cost more. They don't. They're really cheap. And this will just kind of help balance out our power usage a little bit. In the event that we ever dip above, because what you'll find is occasionally there'll be little blips that'll push you up above your power capacity. And when that happens, if you don't have batteries, your whole network's going to shut down immediately, right? So now what's our... so we can hold 200 megawatts. Our charge rate is 110-ish, right? So 150, 142. So see how the power usage is kind of all over the place? So if we get towards the top of that 600 megawatts, what's going to happen is when that power dips above 600, without batteries, the whole network shuts down. And that's bad, right? Like, that's really bad. So having the batteries here makes it so that there's a little bit of a buffer. And having two batteries is good, because it looks like the charge rate is around 100 megawatts is your limit on charge per battery. So having a couple batteries here will absolutely be a good move. I kind of want like 4 of them, honestly. I'm hoping that where I'm putting this is not a stupid place. I mean, we will, yes, probably want to expand our smelting operations here in a bit. So I might be regretting this location. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I would... Wherever I put these, I want them to stay, because it's going to take like an hour or two to charge this whole thing, right? So if we decide we don't like where they're hanging out right now, that would be bad. Only because... we'd have to wait for them to recharge. And it wouldn't be the end of the world, right? Like, power's free and unlimited, right? It's again, it's all about the production of power, not the storage of power. So it's not like we're going to run out of coal or nothing. But, you know, we should be cognizant of where we place this, is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I just want to make sure that the grid is aligned properly. This doesn't need to stay this way, but doing it like what I'm doing here will ensure that this grid is now aligned with this grid, and they're kind of the same setup, right? That's kind of neat. Yes, this looks good to me. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Now, obviously, we can't build here because of this guy being in there, but that's not a big deal. I like that. All right, cool. So how about we just, like, stick our power dudes back here? I'm going to make a third one, actually. Maybe even 4. Yeah, I think I want to do that. How about 4 of them total? 4 batteries, so that we have lots of battery power in the event that we start struggling for power. hopefully will recognize. I don't know if there's any kind of alarm or alert or anything that happens when I switch on to battery power that will notify me as a player, like, hey, you're on battery power now, you better deal with that, Direwolf. I guess we'll find out. Because I've never, actually played with these batteries before. But I would like to know when I switch on to battery power, so I can be like, oh no, battery power. Better do something about that. Better go make more power crafters and whatnot. So how about you here? How about just a nice little 4x4 of battery doohickeys? And that should be nice. Sweet. So now our total capacity is 400 megawatts of charge available to us. We're charging around 160, but we can charge up to 400 megawatts of power at a time. That's cool. And yeah, that makes sense. So it's going to be about 2 hours until we fill this up. Roughly 2 to 3 hours based on our current consumption. But you can even see, like, our consumption's all over the place, right? It's sometimes as high as, 500, and it's sometimes as low as 419, right? 411, I think, seems to be my lowest point. So, it fluctuates. Because what's happening is some of my machines are turning on and off. If there's backstuffing happening, machines turn on and off, and that's a thing that we need to be aware of. Cool. All right. So let's come back in a minute. Do I want to do power now, or do I want to start kicking off? I really should do power now, but I mean, our power's not that bad. Maybe we can get just a few more of these guys cooking, and that would be all right. Would that be all right? I think that would be all right. Yeah, because we are now producing twice as much steel. And remember, by virtue of the way that this thing works, we're fine. We're fine, right? We don't need to worry about nothing. We don't need to change that mechanic at all. We just need to place a few more of these. Do. We'll place that down in a minute. Let's get this lined up properly. I'm hoping that you're behaving yourself. You seem to be, but then you also don't seem to be. Why is it that you seem to be and then you don't seem to be? Are you not connected, or are you connected? How are you doing that? Oh, I see what happened. Oh, interesting. I thought that would be overwriting it, but it didn't. All right, cool. So we want the import to be from that direction. And then you guys all come in there, and now you're splitting nicely? Excellent. Beautiful. And I'm just going to make you all Mark III belts, even though you don't need to be. It's all good. Love me, my Mark III belts. They're the best. All right. So with that done, I think we're going to want to maintain our ratio here. So let's remember our numbers, right? We have 240 steel coming in. So let's plan for doing this in an intelligible way. But essentially, this guy is probably going to come down here-ish somewhere. So let's line him up with this end one and rotate him like that. And then what I'd like to do is switch you into this steel beam mode, okay? And you can be bumped up to full speed for steel beams, okay? So remember, we're doing 240, right? So that's 60, and 60 is 120, and 60 is 180 steel ingots per minute, right? 180 steel ingots. Now, if I did another 60, that would be my all 240. I might hold off. Now let's see. If I did steel pipes, that would be 30 and 30 steel pipes, and that would be 60 more of those. I think that's the way we're going to want to play it, right? I think that's the way we want to do it. Now what you'll notice is that, and I kind of did this on purpose, but also kind of didn't because I didn't know how many I would need. But this guy doesn't have a recipe, and I'm leaving it that way on purpose, and I will tell you why. Let's also take all of you and control-click them into here, and then I can dismantle you, and that'll give me the steel beams that were in there, and that's cool. And then I want your output to go like that. And then you will merge her into this guy. Okay, cool. So what I'm doing now is we've got 60, 120, 180 steel per minute, making 45 steel beams per minute in total. Okay? And then we have a gap of 1, and then we've got 30 and 60, which adds up to 240, which is exactly how much steel we're producing, making 40 steel pipes per minute. Cool. Now I would like you to output to here. Cool. And that'll get those guys all transferring into this thing. Okay? I feel like that's pretty good. I feel like that's pretty solid. Right? And then eventually, when we ramp up our steel production even further, maybe we'll put this thing to use for more steel beams. Cool? But now we have lots of steel beams coming in. So we've got 45 per minute happening. 45 per minute. So I might amp this guy up to 100%. That'll leave me 20 steel beams being produced, right? 21, right? So once this is done, this guy uses 24 per minute, right? And we're making 45. So if I did that, and then you, sir, need 30. All right, so I probably should scale one of these guys down a little bit still. I'll keep you at 4 per minute. Right, so that'll be 16 and 30 is 46. Wow, we still need more. I mean, I could slow this down to 4 per minute, and that would scale that back a little bit, and I think that would be cool. So then what we're going to want is a splitter. I'll let that connector happen up there. I don't know if we need it to, but we'll find out. It's a little bit hokey. I might, I'll leave it for now. Are you straight? Yeah, you look pretty straight. Yeah, straight-ish. Straight-ish. Cool. And then if I were to throw a little bit of modular frameage in there. Do I not have any modular frames? Where are all my modular frames? Have I used them all? Did I use them all? I guess it's possible that I used them all. I guess I did use them all. Wild. You know what? I'll take these 34 to dump over here. Just to get this going for a second. And then what we'll see is it's 24 steel beams. And 16 is 40. Right? And we're making 45. So that'll be a net gain of 5 extra steel beams per minute, which will be enough for me to come over here and grab some, because I need them for Mark III belts, right? Okay, cool. Now, as for you, sir, what I'm thinking I want is you come in here. On 2, maybe? And this is these guys. Can you just connect straight up? Don't tell me that's like too long by an inch. Why are you no connecty? Oh, I know why. Because you're rotated the wrong way. So I'm going to actually not do that. You think that'll be cool? How's that feel? A little dire wiry, but it works. And that'll make versatile frameworks for us. Yes? And Bob's your uncle. Versatile frameworks, go. Sweet. Sweet. So with that production line going, we've slowed down versatile frameworks, we've slowed down encased steel beams, but we've now got, you know, a little bit net gain of regular steel beams, which in my opinion you want, because like I said, Mark III belts, good times, right? So now we're making versatile frameworks, which is awesome. And that's going to go a long way. We're going to make 4 of those per minute. And what do we need? 500 of those? So, I mean, that's not bad. Take like an hour or 2. And we've got a lot to do before we're ready to hand those in. So, by the time we're ready to hand those in, we should be cool. Nice. All right. So, let's make another one of these for Stators then. Okay. Because Stators are going to be steel pipes and wires. And then the only other bit that we care about is, and I might want to put this, maybe I want to put this here and have this gap, right? So if I made you Stators, you need 15 steel pipes per minute and 40 wires per minute. I don't know how many Stators we're going to need, but we might want multiple of these, so I'll be ready to expand this as needed. I might want 2 sets of these coming out, because you're only using 15 per minute. And how much are we producing? We're making 40, right? Yeah, we're making 40 per minute. So how about we do 2 of these? Is that cool? So what I'll do is a splitter here. I'm going to turn off this auto connect to buildings for a minute. That's not how I want you to be, buddy. Cool. And you'll also be Stators. And you can connect to this guy. And that should be good. Cool. Now, how's my power situation now? Getting there. We're getting there. We're still charging, which is nice. But we're still definitely consuming a bit. And we will be consuming even more in a moment, because we're about to tap into 30 more of these. But what we're probably going to want now is we need 40 wire per minute. So we're going to have to make sure that we're making that many. Let's do 2 bips up. Let's put the conveyor belt with the little sneaky trickiness. We'll do the conveyor belt with a little sneaky trickiness. We will put a splitter coming in from this direction. And then we'll put a splitter coming in from this direction. And then we're going to run a Mark 3 belt here. And that should be cool. And these guys are Mark 1 list, but that should be all right. And then we can just run our copper kind of all the way across here. You know what? I think I want to reverse that. Let's reverse this, because I want my copper to come on this side. So let's put our input here and our input here so that you can go into there. And then our dudes can come across to here. Does that sound cool? Yeah. Yeah. That sounds cool to me. All right, so my copper wire is currently here. How much copper wire are we producing a minute? 30 copper wire per minute. Yeah, I might want to amp this whole setup up to produce enough, because we need 80, right? If we want to have 2 sets of stators going, we need 80 copper wire, and we're only producing 30 at the moment. Yeah, 80 is what we're going to need, and we're only doing 30. So realistically, we want 3 sets of wire producers going, which is where we want to now start expanding this whole structure. So we're basically going to want to do this and that. There we go. Nice. All right. Cool. See my consumption drop when I disconnected that? we can quickly determine how much consumption our steel production is using, huh? It's cool, isn't it? All right, so what we should probably do here is ramp up copper production next. But I think that's going to have to wait until next episode. So, good news, steel ramped up, versatile frameworks ramped up. Next step, we're going to turn this into a Mark II miner. Okay, we're going to expand our smelters. We're going to basically have 3 sets of copper wire producers going on here, dedicated so that 80 copper wire goes towards making the stators, and the remaining 10 can just go into a storage container for us to grab, because as you know, we need to come over here every now and then and snag a stack of copper wires, right? So useful to have a little bit of overflow, especially for certain resources, right? What I'll probably wind up doing is converting this one into copper wires, having another copper wire, and then moving the copper sheets for other things. We'll have 1 or 2 of those happening. All right, cool. Wrapping up point for the episode, though. So for now, Darryl20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We will come back next time to expand our copper production lines, and then it's probably at that point really going to be let's get more coal power going, because if we run out of power, it's going to be a bad time. Like, yes, we're building up a nice charge, so if we ever run into a power problem, our batteries will be able to supply us some power. I'm assuming their output is equal to their input, which is 100 megawatts, so we don't want to cut off all our power and run entirely on battery, obviously, but it'll hold us over for a little bit until we need to, get things back up and running. So for now, wrapping up point, Darryl20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.